Intimacy of touch with moon in Rohini Nakshatra. With the moon in Rohini, touch is a language of tenderness, beauty, and anchoring. Your body responds to contact like earth to rain, eager but discerning, slow to absorb, yet deeply nourished when it's right. You don't just want affection, you want it to be intentional, sensual, and emotionally steady. Touch for you is not casual, it's cultivation. Ruled by the moon and located in Taurus, Rohini is the most exalted and emotionally fertile lunar placement. You crave touch that makes you feel chosen, cherished, and safe. You open to physical affection when it's attuned to your rhythm, when it arrives with patience, consistency, and quiet reverence. A rushed hug or a distracted caress may leave you cold. But a lingering hand on your back, a deep gaze before a kiss, or a soft press of warmth during silence. That's what melts your heart. Your body is a sensual temple, but not one that allows just anyone in. Touch must feel grounded, not greedy, present, not performative. You prefer steady contact over chaotic gestures. Your moon is nourished by reliable physical rituals, brushing hair, resting limbs together, entwining fingers while watching the world go by. These acts remind you that love lives in repetition, not just in surprise. And while you may not initiate touch with flamboyance, when you feel emotionally secure, your physical affection becomes lavish. You offer warmth generously. You cradle. You linger. You create environments of touch where your partner can rest, where love is not just felt, but inhabited. In intimacy, you are the one who remembers the softness of skin, the temperature of breath, the mood of the room. Your senses are exquisite curators of memory. However, if touch arrives in times of conflict or from someone emotionally inconsistent, your body may resist. You value harmony, and when touch carries tension or manipulation, your inner Taurus slams the gates. You may withdraw into stillness, becoming cool or distant, not out of spite, but because your body doesn't lie. Emotional trust is your gatekeeper. In relationships, you are tactile, loyal, and deeply nourishing, but you require mutual presence. Touch, for you, must be earned through emotional steadiness. It must be connected to reality, not fantasy. You are not drawn to dramatic passion. You're drawn to the deep hum of dependable devotion. To deepen this intimacy, speak your needs with grace. Say, I open most to touch that's slow and tuned into my energy. Or, physical affection makes me feel loved when it's consistent and grounded. These aren't limitations. They're invitations into a love that honors your steady heart. And allow yourself to be surprised. Let someone reach for you in a moment of joy. Let spontaneity find you, even when you weren't emotionally prepared. Let your body receive not just what is expected, but what is genuinely offered. Because when touch becomes not a performance, but a promise, when it is patient, sensual, and rooted in mutual emotional clarity, your Rohini moon finds the intimacy it was born to receive. Love that is not only felt, but held, tended, and allowed to bloom. A closeness that touches your body without ever disrupting your peace. Intimacy of sensate with moon in Rohini Nakshatra. For your Rohini moon, sensation is not just pleasure, it is poetry in motion. You experience the world through your senses in high resolution. Colors feel emotional, sounds carry texture, touch becomes memory. Sensate intimacy for you is a full-bodied immersion in beauty, consistency, and emotional resonance. You don't just want to be touched, you want to be moved, tasted, heard, and understood through the senses. Rohini is ruled by the moon and falls within Taurus, Venus's earthy domain. This gives you an aesthetic depth that few can match. You feel safe and connected when your environment is harmonious, warm, and inviting. A softly lit room, the scent of something familiar and comforting, a velvet soft blanket, a voice laced with affection. These elements don't just make you feel good. They make you feel home. Your body is an intuitive barometer. You sense the quality of attention in a partner's glance, the unspoken mood in their tone, the rhythm in their movements. Sensate intimacy isn't about stimulation, it's about attunement. You're soothed by presence that's deliberate, gentle, and consistent. Harsh lighting, loud voices, chaotic gestures, or unpredictable energy can rattle your nervous system and make you retreat. You don't crave novelty, you crave depth. The way the light falls across your lover's skin. The way music pulls you into memory. The shared meal that becomes a ritual. You bond through these repeated sacred moments. You may create a sensual sanctuary around your love life, curating the space, setting the tone, crafting a rhythm where both your bodies and emotions feel tended. Your partner may come to realize with you, beauty is a form of commitment. A thoughtfully arranged setting, a well-timed caress, a calming tone, these are acts of love, not luxury. And when someone puts effort into creating a sensate experience that mirrors your inner richness, your loyalty deepens. But when your senses are disrespected, when your space is violated, your tempo rushed, or your environment left in disharmony, your moon feels unsettled. You may go quiet, distant, or emotionally dulled. For you, dissonance in the sensory field is a direct hit to emotional safety. You need beauty that is not only seen, but sustained. To deepen this intimacy, speak your sensory truth. Say, I connect more deeply when our environment is calm and attuned. Or, sensory harmony helps me feel emotionally present. These aren't demands, they are blueprints. They teach others how to love you through the world you touch, see, smell, and hear. And allow your senses to be surprised. Let someone kiss you when the lighting isn't perfect. Let the mess be part of the magic. Let sound, texture, or scent carry you into intimacy without always needing to curate it. Because when sensation becomes not indulgence, but intimacy in form, when your body is allowed to experience beauty as a shared language, your Rohini moon finds what it quietly longs for, a sensual bond that is slow, sacred, and utterly sincere. A love that doesn't just pass through your senses, but roots itself in your soul through every soft, steady detail. Intimacy of kindness with Moon and Rohini Nakshatra. For your Rohini moon, kindness is not a gesture, it is a frequency. You recognize it not just in words or smiles, but in tone, timing, and the atmosphere it creates. Your emotional body blooms in the presence of steady, genuine kindness, the kind that takes its time, asks nothing in return, and shows up in the quiet moments no one else sees. Ruled by the moon and rooted in Venus-ruled Taurus, Rohini exudes a gentle power that is deeply nurturing yet immensely sensitive. You are kind by nature, but your kindness is not naive. It's curated, earned. You extend warmth to those who feel emotionally safe, who meet you with soft hands and steady hearts. And in return, you long to be loved not loudly, but loyally. You are attuned to emotional textures others might miss. You can feel when affection is performative, when help is transactional, or when compliments are laced with expectation. Your moon is not impressed by grand gestures unless they are backed by sincerity and follow-through. What opens you is presence without pressure. Compassion that doesn't need to fix you. Love that says, you don't have to be useful right now, you just have to be here. When kindness is rushed, inconsistent, or manipulative, you may grow silent or cool. Not out of cruelty, but out of emotional self-respect. Your inner peace is precious, and your moon guards it like a garden. You don't flourish in sharp tones or chaotic energy. You thrive where kindness is reliable, predictable in the best way. Not because you fear change, but because your tenderness needs anchoring before it can risk opening. And in return, you give a form of kindness that is grounded and generous. You're the one who cooks for your partner when they don't ask, who remembers their preferences, who offers warmth through small, consistent acts of devotion. Your care is never theatrical. It's woven into the fabric of daily life. But you also need to feel that your effort is reciprocated, not assumed. The wound beneath your grace is often this, the belief that you must always hold it together, always be the nurturer, even when you're tired. But real intimacy isn't built on overfunctioning. It's built on mutual gentleness. You are allowed to receive the softness you give. You are allowed to collapse into kindness, not just offer it. To deepen this intimacy, speak from the truth of your rhythm. Say, kindness for me is shown in presence, not performance. Or, I feel most loved when care is offered without urgency or expectation. These aren't boundaries. They're invitations. They help others love you in a way that feeds your roots, not just your surface. And let yourself accept kindness before you've earned it. Let it come in messy clothes. Let it arrive unannounced. Let someone stroke your hair, not because you did something great, but because you're worthy even when you're still. Because when kindness becomes not currency but climate, when it holds you softly without needing a script, your Rohini moon finds its true sanctuary, a love that nurtures without noise. a bond that says, you don't have to perform sweetness, you are the sweetness. Intimacy of growth with Moon Rohini Nakshatra. Growth for your Rohini Moon is not a disruptive force. It's a slow unfolding, like petals opening under morning light. You evolve in cycles, not surges. Your emotional body doesn't rush transformation, it grounds it. You grow through nourishment, not friction, through security, not upheaval. So intimacy for you must allow change to occur gently, patiently, and with deep emotional attunement. Rohini is ruled by the moon and resides in Taurus, a fixed earth sign. This gives you emotional rhythms that crave stability as a prerequisite for expansion. If love feels chaotic or overly demanding, your moon may tighten rather than evolve. You're not afraid of change, but you are sensitive to how that change is introduced. You need growth to feel safe, not rushed. Organic, not orchestrated. In relationships, you thrive when your partner honors your internal timing. You bond with those who don't push you to be better, but who tend to your present self with such kindness that growth becomes inevitable. A partner who understands that emotional evolution isn't linear and that your version of progress may look like stillness before movement will access your deepest loyalty. You also support others through a similar grace. You don't force growth, you hold space for it. You listen. You wait. You offer steady care while your loved one struggles, trusting that their soil knows when to bloom. But you do have limits. If your nurturing becomes taken for granted or your need for growth is ignored in favor of someone else's comfort, your moon begins to wither. You need mutual investment in becoming, not one-sided constancy. Your challenge may come when you fear outgrowing or being outgrown. You're emotionally committed, and the idea of changing in a way that disrupts a relationship can stir deep resistance. But true Rohini growth does not threaten love. It refines it. You're not here to stay the same. You're here to root deeper and rise higher, with someone who understands that slow growth is still growth. To deepen this kind of intimacy, speak your rhythm. Say, I need time to grow emotionally, but I'm always evolving under the surface. Or, I want to grow with you, not away from you, but I need patience, not pressure. These truths don't slow down love. They anchor it. And let yourself stretch toward unfamiliar light. Let your partner see you when you're still figuring it out. Let new parts of you emerge, even if they challenge your old patterns. You don't have to be fully formed to be worthy of being fully loved. Because when growth becomes not upheaval but tending, when your evolution is honored with patience and presence, your Rohini moon finds the intimacy it was made for. A steady, rooted bond that nourishes transformation from the inside out. A love that says, take your time. I'm not here for who you were. I'm here for who you're becoming. Intimacy of activity with Moon and Rohini Nakshatra. For your Rohini Moon, activity becomes intimate when it is rhythmic, grounding, and shared with heart. You don't crave constant novelty or adrenaline. You crave meaningful presence in motion. Folding laundry together, cooking side by side in a sunlit kitchen, planting a garden, or walking the same trail week after week. These are not routines to you. They are rituals of love. When activity is intentional, your heart opens. Rohini, ruled by the moon in Taurus, favors stability over speed. Your emotional body moves in cycles. You prefer activity that reinforces connection, that brings a sensory calm, that makes love tangible. You don't rush into chaos to feel alive. You settle into comfort to feel real. And in that comfort, devotion deepens. You thrive in partnerships where doing things together becomes a way of being. You might not always articulate your feelings easily, but when you're kneading dough, rearranging a room, or walking hand in hand with someone in silence, you're saying everything. Activity, for you, is emotion made visible. It's where affection hides, in chores, in planning, in shared meals. If love lives in the day-to-day, you trust it more. And yet, your moon does need cooperation, not command. You are generous, yes, but when activities become burdensome, or when you are expected to maintain everything without reciprocity, resentment can build. You value harmony, but you won't carry the weight of togetherness alone. You need your partner to join you, not just watch you. To participate, not perform. You may also struggle if activity becomes disconnected from emotion, if your time together is filled with distractions, noise, or motion without meaning. You're not nourished by mindless busyness. You want quiet purpose. You want your actions together to build intimacy, not bypass it. You also offer love in practical ways, making things more beautiful, more functional, more peaceful. You take care of what others overlook, but you need your efforts to be noticed and reciprocated. You don't give for applause, but being taken for granted wounds you deeply, because every little thing you do is a gesture of emotional investment. To deepen this intimacy, voice your quiet truth. Say, I feel closest when we share the little things, not just the big moments. Or, I don't need grand gestures, but I thrive when our daily life feels mutual and intentional. These aren't requests for control. They're pathways to real partnership. And let yourself be drawn into activity without needing to perfect it. Let joy sneak in through a messily cooked meal or a clumsy shared project. Let the meaning rise not from what you do, but how you show up in it. Because when activity becomes not duty, but devotion in motion, when it reflects shared rhythm and real presence, your Rohini moon finds the intimacy it cherishes most. A love rooted in consistency, care, and co-creation. A partnership where the smallest acts speak the loudest. A bond that says, if we do it together, it becomes sacred. Intimacy of allowance with moon in Rohini Nakshatra. With the moon in Rohini, allowance is a deep, sensual grace. You are not someone who demands loud freedom, but you require quiet sovereignty. To feel emotionally safe, you must be allowed to settle, to move at your own pace, to be fully inhabited in your body and emotions without being rushed, redirected, or fixed. Rohini, ruled by the moon in exaltation and housed in earthy Taurus, moves through life like a sacred tide, measured, sensitive, fertile, and deeply attuned. You don't blossom under pressure. You bloom in warmth and trust. If someone tries to control your mood, reinterpret your feelings, or hurry your process, your roots begin to withdraw. You might stay outwardly pleasant, but emotionally, you start to close the gate. You need partners who can let you be. Let you be quiet without assuming you're upset. Let you be still without interpreting it as stuck. Let you take your time to speak, to arrive, to engage. Your moon is soft, but it has boundaries made of earth and time. You feel safest when no one is trying to manage your energy. Just meet it as it is. You often extend the same allowance to others. You offer steady presence. You don't push. You don't chase chaos. You understand that everything grows in its own cycle, and you intuitively leave space for people to move through their seasons. But when that same generosity isn't extended back, when you're expected to always be soothing, stable, or available, your spirit contracts. You also hold a quiet fear that if you're truly seen in your slow, still, raw phases, you'll be misunderstood or dismissed. So you sometimes overcompensate, staying calm when you're burning inside, staying kind when you're tired, staying present even when you need rest. But allowance must start within. You are allowed to be unfinished, to be not okay, to not hold it all. To deepen this intimacy, offer your emotional truth gently. Say, I open more when I'm allowed to be where I actually am, not where someone wants me to be. Or, my love deepens when I don't have to perform stability. These words give your partner a way to love you without rushing you, to wait with you, instead of trying to fix you. And let yourself be loved without explanation. Let your mood shift without apology. Let someone sit beside you in your emotional weather without needing you to hurry through it. Let yourself be received as you are, even if who you are today feels different than yesterday. Because when allowance becomes not absence but active respect, when love waits, listens, and adapts without force, your Rohini moon finds its most sacred intimacy, a relationship where you are held, not handled, where love doesn't mold you, but meets you, where being deeply, humanly you is not only permitted, but revered. Intimacy of giving with moon in Rohini Nakshatra. For your Rohini moon, giving is a natural outpouring of emotional devotion. You give not to impress or control, but to nurture, stabilize, and beautify. Your love is felt in meals lovingly prepared, in spaces quietly tended, in gentle presence that soothes without needing words. Giving, for you, is an act of emotional gardening. You plant your care slowly, water it daily, and expect nothing overnight. Only authentic growth. Rohini is ruled by the exalted moon in Taurus, where giving is earthy, sensual, and emotionally precise. You don't scatter affection in all directions. You give where your heart feels safe, where your care will be respected, not consumed. And once you've committed, you give steadily and generously, sometimes even beyond your own reserves. You offer emotional nourishment through comfort, consistency, and beauty. You remember their favorite tea. You anticipate their stress before they name it. You create harmony around others so they can breathe easier. Your giving is rarely flashy, but it is soul deep. And often, people come to rely on it, to expect it, sometimes to forget that it costs you energy too. This is where your giving becomes vulnerable. You may give until depletion, quietly hoping someone will notice your empty cup. You rarely ask directly. You want others to intuit what you need, just as you do for them. But not everyone speaks that refined emotional language. When your efforts go unacknowledged or unreciprocated, you may grow resentful, withdrawn, or disillusioned, not because you gave too much, but because you weren't met halfway. Yet despite this, you don't stop giving. Even when hurt, your instinct is to repair, to make things feel whole again. But your evolution lies in learning that love is not about holding it all together. It's about mutual cultivation. You are not here to be the only one tending the garden. You deserve to be tended to as well. To deepen this intimacy, speak gently but clearly. Say, when I give, it's from a real place, and I feel safest when that care is noticed, not taken for granted. Or, I give through quiet things, but I need to feel that someone's giving to me, too, even if it looks different. These aren't demands, they're emotional coordinates. They guide your partner to meet you in the same soil. And let yourself give in ways that don't require effort. Let your care be casual, imperfect, spontaneous. Let love flow without needing to earn its worth through service. Let yourself be full, not just fulfilling. Because when giving becomes not responsibility but ritual reciprocity, when care flows both ways, without condition or scorekeeping, your Rohini Moon finds the intimacy it's built for. Love that nourishes without exhausting, gives without disappearing, and builds beauty through balance. A bond where devotion is quiet but mutual, and every offering is met with equal reverence. Intimacy of receiving with Moon in Rohini Nakshatra. Receiving, for your Rohini Moon, is both natural and delicate. You are exquisitely tuned to comfort, beauty, and love, but your ability to receive them depends on emotional safety, timing, and sincerity. You don't receive easily from just anyone. Your Moon, exalted in Taurus, seeks to receive only what is stable, meaningful, and offered with quiet devotion. Otherwise, you may politely smile and never let it in. You are often the giver, the nurturer, the one who makes others feel at home. You offer warmth like a candle that never burns out. But your deepest need, the one you rarely voice, is to be given to in return, not in volume but in attunement. You want to feel that someone sees what you need before you ask, just as you do for them. You want offerings that are thoughtful, not performative, real, not rushed. When someone gives to you with emotional presence, when they slow down, notice your mood, touch you with reverence, your body begins to trust. You relax. You soften. You let yourself be tended to. But when affection arrives in flashy gestures or is given with strings attached, your Moon may quietly pull away. You'd rather go without than receive something that feels transactional. There's a quiet vulnerability here. The fear that to receive is to become dependent. That to open too much might make you feel obligated. And so, sometimes you mask your need with graceful self-sufficiency. You say, I'm fine, even when you're aching for someone to hold you without question. But true receiving is not weakness. It is trust in another's presence. It is the moment you say, I don't have to carry it all today. You receive best when the love is sensual, slow, and emotionally anchored. A warm meal made just for you, a steady hand on your lower back, a voice that says, you don't have to give anything right now. That's when your Moon exhales. That's when you feel held in the way you hold others, with presence, not pressure. To deepen this kind of intimacy, offer gentle clarity. Say, I open more when love is offered with patience, not expectation. Or, receiving lands with me when it feels sincere, not flashy. These small truths teach others how to enter your field of trust with care, not assumption. And let yourself receive without editing it. Let someone offer you sweetness you didn't predict. Let a compliment land without shrinking. Let a hand brush yours without needing to justify why it matters. Let love in, even if it comes in an unfamiliar wrapping. Because when receiving becomes not an obligation, but a sacred surrender, when it flows into your life like sunlight warming the soil, you, Rohini Moon, find the intimacy you were born to embody. A love that feeds you as deeply as you feed others. A closeness where receiving is not a burden but a blessing. A bond that whispers, "Clyde, you don't have to earn this, it's already yours."